More than 300 million people in the world's poorest countries could soon be facing acute hunger. That's because the war in Ukraine is affecting the global food supply. Chuch Holton brings us this report from Egypt on what may happen to people who depend on Ukraine's wheat for survival.
Spring is in full bloom across Ukraine, and the winter wheat will soon be ready for harvest. The Russian invasion, however, has everyone focused on mere survival, and the fighting will likely ensure much of this wheat never gets harvested. And the wheat stored in these silos near Odessa can't make it to market because of Russia's blockade of ports on the Black Sea. That bodes poorly for many countries that rely on Ukrainian wheat for survival. In Lebanon, it's estimated the country will be out of grain in less than 2 months.
The impact of the Ukraine war on Lebanon is going to be unfortunately multifaceted, and we've seen that already, not only in the wheat supply that's coming into the country, but even calls to our hotline for families looking for extra support. Normally, UNICEF supports 130,000 children every month with a small cash grant of $40 US. And in recent weeks, the number of calls to our helpline has more than tripled as families have really struggled to put food on the table.
And in Egypt, more than 80% of the 270 million loaves of bread the country consumes each day are made with wheat from Russia and Ukraine. So here, people see big problems on the horizon. In Cairo, people on a fixed income are already feeling the pinch of high prices.
The bread in Egypt is like the backbone because most of the people need bread to eat. And the point is the price for the bread when went up, some here for the bakery doesn't make much more like before. He came to make less number of breads. So now if you have to get like 10 pieces, you got just 5. The bread came to be 30% more, which is like 65, 70 piastres per piece, and in somewhere it can be £1 one piece.
Food security has always been extremely important here in the desert in Egypt. This granary beside me, some people believe, was built by Joseph from the Bible in the 7 fat years that Egypt had before the 7 lean years, where they stored up grain and then sold it to the entire world. And they believe that the money that they gained from all of that grain enabled them to build some of the biggest monuments in the world, including the Great Pyramid.
But today, Egypt is much less prepared for what looks to be lean years ahead. To counter this, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has demanded the nation's farmers dedicate a portion of their land to growing wheat. Those who fail to produce their quota face fines and possible jail time. This Egyptian farmer says threats aren't necessary.
I'm happy to grow more wheat this year because the prices are much higher. I've already sold all my winter crop and it will give my family a good life.
Any added grain grown by local farmers, though, won't come close to making up the shortfall from Ukraine. For that reason, Egyptians are cutting back already and blaming Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, the flour also here get really is more expensive because it's a crazy Russian government. He's crazy.
From Cairo, I'm Chuch Holton for CBN News.